Hello everyone and welcome to Daily Grace with Pastor James. So glad you're joining me in this episode. Today we want to actually rub minds together. You know, when you look at the church is described as a place where you experience joy. It's a joyful environment when you come to church, the praise and worship, the dancing. It's a place of love. It's a community that we also experience spiritual growth. But what happens when the church itself becomes a source of pain in your life, becomes a source of pain in my life? What do we do when we are hurt by the very people and the very system that are meant to represent Christ, that are supposed to actually take care of us? So today we are going to be looking at how we can stick with the church even in those hard and hurtful seasons. And of course, we are going to look at how doing so is essential for our growth, for our healing, and of course also witnessing to the world, which is what Christ has called us to do. We must also remember that the church is not a gathering of perfect people, and I keep saying this all the time, but it's a gathering of imperfect people being perfected by Christ. The church is a gathering of imperfect people being perfected by Christ. And sometimes in the messiness of our humanity, hurt happens, and it will always happen. And then the Bible calls us to stick to the body of Christ, to stick to the community. And when it's so difficult for us to do that, the grace of God would help us to scale through. So we just want to look at certain things today. First is you will need to recognize the reality of hurts in church. It's a reality. John 16:33 says, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." It is essential to acknowledge hurt in life. It is a way of life. It is part of life. And unfortunately, the church is not an exception. It also extends to the church. Whether it's due to misunderstanding, we will be hurt. Whether it's due to unmet expectations, which of course we always see, due to gossip or outright wrongdoing, you will always be hurt in one point or the other. And pain can come from various relationships, not just the relationships in the church, but it will also come in the church. Christ said the hurt will come. Jesus has never promised us a pain-free life, as some people do. Jesus Christ never promised us, but he just said that he has overcome the world for us. So don't be surprised when hurt happens in the church. And then the second thing is we must stick with the church, irrespective of the hurt, irrespective of the hard time. Why must we stick to the church? Hebrews 10:23-25 says, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another." You see, when we are hurt, the natural reaction for us when that happens is either we want to retreat or we want to withdraw. And I see a lot of people do this in the church. Once they are hurt, they want to, just call into that their own space. Or some of them will just take what they think is the easy route out. They just leave the church. But the Bible encourages us to not give up meeting together. For three reasons. The church is the body of Christ. So if your leg offends you, will you cut the leg off? Healing happens in the community, and that is the community of the church. And of course, the Bible spurs us that we should encourage, we should spur one another on. When you are down, you will see somebody to pick you up. The church is still God's plan for His mission. And when you leave, you are living the mission and the plan of God for your life. The third critical thing is we need to learn to forgive so that we can get healing. We need to learn to forgive to bring about healing. Ephesians 4:31-32. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ forgave us. If God has forgiven us for our wrongdoing, why can't we forgive others? Forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior. Behaviors are bad, and we all experience this from time to time. Remember, we are all the recipients of God's forgiveness. So let us forgive. And healing also comes. Healing takes place when forgiveness starts. Until forgiveness kicks off, healing will never take place. And the fourth thing is you need to trust God's sovereignty in the pain that you are going through as a result of hurts from brethren. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. So even in the most painful season of life, we must trust God. We must hold on to His sovereignty, even when it's hurting so bad. There will be good out of it. It's to the glory of God. God uses trials to mature us, even in this our race, in this our Christian race that is called the faith, the race of faith. God is working for good, even when we can't see it. And in most cases, we think that the Lord is not working, but He's working in the background. It might be slow in our eyes, but He is never late. He will come at its own time. And every single pain you go through, even in the church, has a purpose. There is no pain in life that does not have a purpose. So all you just need to do is don't waste your pain. Use your pain to encourage others. Use your pain to help others in the church. And the fifth thing is just be an agent of healing and reconciliation. Matthew 5:9 says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Be a peacemaker, especially in your church. Don't gossip. Don't carry rumors. Don't backbite. Don't see the bad that people are doing. You just be a peacemaker. Confront with love, even when you are hurt. Pray for your church. Pray for your leaders. Pray for your pastor. Because if you pray for them, you will love them. They are also praying for you. Prayer is one of the most powerful tools that we have for healing and reconciliation. So wherever you are in a church community, God has a purpose for planting you there. Would you forsake God's purpose? Or will you fall in line with the purpose of God? No matter how bad you think the leaders are, God has placed them in that place as well for a purpose. Pray for the leaders. Pray for those who have hurt you as well. Jesus Christ told us that. And pray for the entire church community. Hurt is real. Hurt is inevitable. But I pray that God's grace will be sufficient for you. Thank you so much for listening to me in this episode, sticking with the church in hard and hurtful season. If this has blessed you, please do share it with other people so that they can also be blessed. My name is Pastor James Egwedibi, and I pastor RCCG Solid Rock Parish, Derby, 55 Woods Lane, DE22 3UD. If you are looking for a Bible-believing church, we have wonderful brethren who will welcome you with an open arms. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.